I slammed the car door on my brother Ethan's life 5 years ago, not with a gun or a fist, but with a confession that buried him under a mountain of lies I told for his sake, until I couldn't anymore. Tonight, as my family ditched me in this greasy spoon off Lakeshore Drive, forks clattering like accusations on our half-eaten plates, I felt the old wound rip open. They'd framed me for the hit and run that killed our neighbor's kid, all to protect Ethan's golden boy future. And now, with my thumb hovering over the send button on a video that would shatter their perfect suburban facade, I whispered to the empty booth, "Your turn to bleed." The rain hammered the roof of Mel's diner like it was trying to drown out the jukebox's lazy twang of some forgotten Springsteen track, but nothing could wash away the metallic taste of betrayal in my mouth. I was Avery Hayes, 28, the family screw-up who'd clawed her way back from rock bottom only to get shoved off the edge again. My parents, Richard and Linda, Dad the high school principal with his pressed khakis and moral lectures, Mom the PTA queen in her pearl necklace and passive-aggressive sighs, sat across from me, their faces carved from the same block of Midwestern granite. Ethan, my baby brother by 3 years, slouched beside Dad, scrolling his phone like the world owed him its attention. We'd come here for family reconciliation, Mom's idea after I'd been paroled 6 months early for good behavior. Parole from a 3-year stint in Logan Correctional for vehicular manslaughter, a charge I took because Ethan, drunk off his ass after homecoming, had wrapped Dad's old Ford around a tree and into little Tommy Riley, the 8-year-old paper boy who'd just wanted to cross the street. Ethan walked away with scratches. Tommy didn't walk away at all. But Ethan was the star quarterback, the one with the full ride to Notre Dame on the line. So when the cops came knocking, Dad pulled strings with his buddy on the force, and I, fresh out of community college, no prospects, always the sensitive one, stepped up. It was me. I'd lied, my voice cracking like cheap glass. They coached me through the plea deal, buried the evidence in family loyalty, and I rotted while Ethan threw touchdowns and hid his guilt behind frat boy grins. "You're late to your own redemption arc, Avery," Ethan had sneered earlier, when I showed up at the house with a bottle of cheap Merlot as a peace offering. The dinner was supposed to be a reset. Turkey meatloaf, mashed potatoes drowning in gravy, the works. But halfway through, as I mustered the courage to say, "I need to come clean about that night," the air turned toxic. Dad's fork froze midair. Mom's eyes darted like cornered rabbits. Ethan's laugh was a bark, too loud, too sharp. "What the hell does that mean?" Dad growled, his principal voice kicking in, the one that made delinquents piss themselves. I leaned forward, heart pounding like a bass drum in a metal solo. "The accident. It wasn't me behind the wheel. It was—" "Stop," Mom hissed, her hand clamping my wrist like a vice. Her nails dug in, drawing pinpricks of blood I didn't feel until later. "Not here. Not now." Ethan's phone buzzed. Some sorority girl, no doubt, and he pocketed it with a smirk. "Yeah, sis, save the drama for therapy. We're trying to eat." But I couldn't stop. The words had festered too long, a poison I'd swallowed for them. Ethan was driving. "I covered for him because you all begged me to." "Dad, you said it'd ruin his life." "Mom, you cried about the family name." "And I believed you." The diner went quiet, save for the sizzle of the grill in the back. A trucker at the counter glanced over, then away, minding his eggs. Dad's face purpled, veins bulging like rivers on a map. "You ungrateful little—" He bit it off, glancing at the waitress. "We're done here." They stood as one, chairs scraping like nails on a chalkboard. Mom tossed a 20 on the table, barely enough for the bill, and they filed out into the downpour without a backward glance. Ethan paused at the door, rain already slicking his hair, and shot me a look that could curdle milk. "You always were the weak link, Avery. Don't drag us down with your bullshit." The bell above the door jingled their exit, and I was alone. Just me, the cooling meatloaf, and the weight of 5 years crashing down. My phone sat heavy in my pocket, the video queued up, grainy dashcam footage from a neighbor's ring, timestamped that foggy October night. It showed the Ford swerving, Ethan's silhouette at the wheel, my frantic scramble to switch places before the sirens wailed. I'd kept it hidden, a nuclear option, waiting for the right moment to detonate. And now? Fuck it. My thumb pressed send. To the Rylus, to the local PD tip line, to every goddamn family group chat from here to Kenosha. But as the upload bar crept to 100%, a chill slithered down my spine. What if this didn't fix me? What if it just made me the villain in their eyes? The sister who torched the house to spite the mice. I flagged the waitress, a tired woman named Carla with tattoos snaking up her arms like forgotten stories. Coffee black. And keep the pot coming. She nodded. No questions. Rough night, hon. You have no idea. By the time the first replies pinged, Tommy's aunt, sobbing emojis, and God, Avery, thank you. A detective's curt, we'll need to speak. The rain had eased to a drizzle, and my resolve hardened like cooling lava. They'd left me here to drown in my silence, but I was done being the sacrificial lamb. Revenge wasn't a word I'd ever owned, but tonight, it fit like a glove, tight, leather, stained with the blood of old wounds. The next morning, I woke in the diner's back booth, head on my arms, Carla's blanket draped over me like a truce flag. She'd locked up at 2 a.m., muttering about crazy families as she handed me a key to the motel next door. On me, kid. Pay it forward sometime. The room smelled of stale smoke and regret, but it beat crashing at the halfway house in Joliet. My phone was a battlefield, 47 missed calls from Mom, 23 voicemails from Dad, each escalating from pleas to threats. You'll destroy us all. Avery. And Ethan's single text. You bitch. Meet me at the pier. Noon. Or I go public with your secrets. My secrets? The ones they'd planted, like the fake diary entries, proving my jealousy of Ethan, or the bribed witness who swore I'd been raging at a bar that night. Layers of lies, peeled back now like onion skin, stinging my eyes. But Ethan going public? That implied he had dirt, real or fabricated, to bury me deeper. I showered under scalding water, scrubbing away the diner's grease, and dressed in my parole uniform. Jeans, hoodie, boots scuffed from prison yard gravel. The pier at Montrose Harbor stretched out like a promise, Lake Michigan churning gray under a sky that matched my mood. He was there when I arrived, leaning on the railing, wind whipping his Letterman jacket, Notre Dame gold, still pristine after all these years. No dad, no mom. Just us, siblings in the storm's aftermath. You look like shit, he said by way of hello, not turning. Pot, kettle. I shot back, stopping a safe distance away. Gulls wheeled overhead, screaming like jurors. He finally faced me, eyes bloodshot, the boyish charm cracked like a dropped vase. What do you want, Avery? A medal? You think ratting me out makes you the hero? I didn't rat. I corrected the record. My voice was steady, surprising even me. Tommy deserved that much. Ethan laughed, bitter as black coffee. Tommy was a punk kid on a bike. Accidents happen. He stepped closer, and I caught the whiskey on his breath. Morning courage. But you? You were supposed to protect me. Family first, remember? Dad's motto. Family first got me 3 years in a cage. I matched his step, the railing cold against my back. While you partied, dated cheerleaders, built your empire on my bones. His face twisted. Anger, then something uglier. Cunning, the flip I'd forgotten he had. Ethan wasn't just the golden boy. He was the chameleon, the one who'd charm teachers 1 minute and spike the punch the next. You think you're the only one who sacrificed? I've been carrying you, loans for your art school dreams, covering your bar tabs when you spiraled. And this. He waved his phone. Insurance. Remember that side hustle you had? The one with the pills? Yeah, I've got texts. Oxy, from your dealer. Timestamped the week before the crash. Cops love that shit. Motive for reckless driving. My stomach dropped. The pills, prescribed after a bad breakup. But yeah, I'd popped extras to numb the edges. Ethan must have swiped my phone that summer, archived the messages like a spider hoarding flies. You're bluffing. Am I? He hit play on a voice memo, my slurred voice, begging for a refill. Fake. Edited. Didn't matter, it sounded damning. Drop the video, or this goes to your PO. Back to prison, sis. Manslaughter plus possession. Poetic, huh? The lake wind howled, carrying the distant horns of freighters, and for a heartbeat, I saw it. The easy out. Delete the file, swallow the lie again, let Ethan skate. But then Tommy's face flashed, gap-toothed smile from the block parties, and Carla's kindness, and the hollow echo of that diner booth. No. His eyes narrowed. The flip again, from bully to beggar. Avery, please. I'm sorry. It was one mistake. We can fix this. Therapy, whatever Mom wants. Screw your sorry. I turned, boots pounding the boards, but he grabbed my arm. Hard, twisting. Don't walk away from me. I yanked free, adrenaline surging. You walked first. Last night. Every night since. As I drove back to the motel in the beater Civic I'd bought with parole cash, my mind raced like a bad engine. Ethan's threat was a bluff. I felt it in my gut, but bluffs could still bite. I needed leverage, real dirt, not just the video. Dad's buddy on the force? Maybe. Or Mom's emails, the ones where she'd vented about cleaning up Ethan's messes for years. I'd hacked her password once, as a teen prank. Old habits died hard. By evening, holed up with takeout Thai and my laptop, firewall shaky but serviceable, I was in. Her inbox was a goldmine of guilt. Forwarded articles on parental cover-ups, therapy notes on enabling toxic masculinity, even a draft letter to me, unsent, apologizing for letting you carry our sins. But buried deeper, in a folder labeled Family Matters, was the kicker: bank records. Dad had funneled $50,000 to a consultant, the witness, no doubt, through a shell account. Embezzled from the school fund? The trail led there, fuzzy but incriminating. I screenshotted it all, heart thumping. This wasn't just revenge, it was reckoning. But as I hit save, my door rattled, pounding, frantic. Avery, open up. It's Dad. I froze, cursor blinking like an accusation. Part of me wanted to bolt, another, to confront. Instead, I cracked the door, chain on. Dad stood there, soaked again, no umbrella, face haggard under the motel's buzzing light. We need to talk. Now. About. I kept my voice level, but inside, the storm brewed. He pushed past anyway, the chain straining. Ethan told us everything. The video, the threats. He's falling apart, Avery. Screaming, breaking things. You've pushed him too far. Me? I laughed sharp. He's a mirror, Dad. Cracked from the inside. He collapsed onto the bed, head in hands, the principal undone. I know. God, I know. It was my call that night. I saw the future. Ethan's scholarship, your instability. I chose wrong. But destroying him, us, it won't bring Tommy back. The room shrank, air thick with unsaid sins. I slid the laptop over, the screenshots glowing. Then let's make it right. All of it. Or I send this to the school board. The DA. Everyone. His eyes lifted, defeated but flickering. Cunning, like Ethan's, but weathered. Blackmail? For my own daughter? Call it justice. But even as I said it, doubt wormed in. Was I saving us? Or just trading one cage for another? We talked till dawn, raw, ugly truths spilling like bad coffee. Dad confessed the bribes, the forged reports. I admitted the pills, the numbness that made me complicit. By sunrise, he was on the phone with a lawyer, real one this time, no cronies. We turn ourselves in, he said, voice breaking. Ethan too. Clean slate, or no slate at all. I nodded, exhaustion pulling like gravity. But as he left, promising to handle Mom, a text from Ethan lit my screen. You win this round. But watch your back. Family sticks forever. The words lingered, a chill in the morning light. Revenge tasted like ash, but for the first time, it felt like mine. The lawyer's office smelled like old money and fresh desperation. Leather chairs, mahogany desk, the faint tang of scotch from a hidden flask. We sat in a semicircle, Dad ramrod straight, Mom twisting her pearls like a rosary. Ethan slouched with that trademark smirk cracking at the edges, and me, Avery, the ghost at the feast, nursing a styrofoam cup of water that tasted like regret. Mr. Hargrove, silver-haired and sharp as a switchblade, flipped through our confession packet like it was yesterday's sports section. Vehicular manslaughter, evidence tampering, witness bribery. That's a cocktail, folks. 15 years minimum if the DA pushes. Mom whimpered, a sound like a kicked dog. But the Rylas, they've forgiven us. Tommy's fund, the donations. Forgiveness isn't a plea bargain, Mrs. Hayes. Hargrove's eyes flicked to me. And Miss Hayes here? Your restitution video has the brass in an uproar. Good intentions, bad optics. They're auditing the school now. Your husband's ass is grass. Dad nodded, jaw set. We know. That's why we're here. Full disclosure. Ethan snorted. Speak for yourself, old man. I'm not rotting in Danville for your fuck-ups. The flip, there it was, Ethan's specialty, loyalty evaporating like morning fog. Mom reached for him, but he shrugged her off, standing. This is bullshit. Avery started it, ditching us at that diner like some Lifetime movie martyr. I say we fight, claim self-defense, or whatever. She's unstable, right? Prison bitch with a grudge. I surged up, chair toppling. Unstable? You left a kid dead and me to clean it up, you coward. Enough. Dad's voice cracked the air, principal mode on steroids. But his eyes, pleading, broken, betrayed him. Ethan, sit. We end this today. He didn't. Instead, he bolted, doors slamming like a gunshot. Mom dissolved into sobs, Hargrove muttering about family therapy addendums. I chased Ethan into the hall, fluorescent lights buzzing like angry bees. He was at the elevator, jabbing the button. Going somewhere. Away from this circus. The doors dinged open. He stepped in. You happy now? Dad's job gone. Mom's a wreck, and I'm the villain? Fuck you, Avery. The doors started closing. On impulse, I jammed my foot in. Get out. Face it. He laughed, dark and jagged. Or what? Another video? You're no better than us. Hiding your pill habit, playing saint. Hypocrite. The word hit like a slap. He wasn't wrong. I'd popped those oxes to forget the family pressure cooker, the whispers of disappointment after every C+. But owning it didn't make his poison sweeter. Maybe, but I'm done hiding. You. He shoved my foot free, doors sealing with a hiss. Gone. I slid down the wall, head between knees, the buildings hum mocking me. Hargrove poked his head out. You okay, kid? No, but getting there. The weeks blurred into a gray smear. Interviews with stone-faced detectives, therapy sessions where Mom cried about losing my boys, Dad chain-smoking on the porch like a man awaiting the gallows. The school board fired him quietly. Whispers of irregularities in the athletics fund slithered through the neighborhood like kudzu. Neighbors who'd waved at block parties now crossed streets, their eyes accusatory arrows. I moved back into the house. Awkward truce, my old room a time capsule of posters and dust, but the air crackled with unspoken indictments. Ethan vanished. Texts bounced, calls to voicemail. Mom fretted, Dad stewed, but I dug. Old habits, that laptop glow my only friend. Turned out, Golden Boy had debts, gambling apps on his phone, loans from shady investors tied to Southside bookies. The crash? Not just drunk driving. He'd been fleeing a drop-off gone bad, pills in the trunk. Mine, supposedly, but his side gig all along. He'd flipped the narrative on me again, planting the dealer texts to cover his tracks. I traced him to a dive bar in Wicker Park, the kind with peeling paint and dreams for sale. Pushed through the door at midnight, the jukebox belting Dylan's like a rolling stone, irony's cruel joke. He was at a corner table, nursing a whiskey neat, eyes glassy. Stalking now? Classy. Worried. I slid into the booth uninvited. Cops are circling. Your friends too, from what I hear. He drained the glass, signaled for another. Let M. Better than family penitentiary. The flip again, defiant to defeated in a blink. Avery. I didn't mean for Tommy. The kid darted out. I panicked and ran. Left me to drown. My voice was whisper soft, venom-laced. He leaned in, breath sour. You think I don't know? Every night, I see his face. That's why I buried it. For us. Bullshit. For you. But his eyes, haunted, hollow, cracked my armor. Was this the monster, or the brother I'd shielded? The bartender cut us off. Ethan tossed bills like confetti. Outside, the alley reeked of piss and possibility. He lit a smoke, offering one. I took it, first in years. Inhale burning like truth. What now? He asked, smoke curling like questions. We turn you in. Together. He exhaled slow. And if I run? Then you're alone. Really alone. Silence stretched, broken by distant sirens, Chicago's lullaby. He nodded, finally. Okay. But one condition, you come with. Testify it was me, not you. Deal. Handshake in the shadows, tentative as new snow. But as we walked to my car, his phone buzzed, a text from an unknown. Payment due. Or pics drop. Pics. I glimpsed. Him, Tommy's mangled bike, time-stamped. Blackmail fodder, his ace if cornered. Ethan. Don't. His voice broke. I'll handle it. We drove home in silence, the city lights blurring into accusations. Mom greeted us with tea and tears, Dad with a gruff hug. But sleep evaded me, that text gnawing. Was he flipping again, dealing shadows to save his skin? Or was this trust, fragile as glass? Dawn brought warrants, not just for us, but Ethan's associates. Turns out, the bookies had deeper hooks. Ties to the crash cover-up, payoffs from Dad's fund. Hargrove called it a conspiracy web, the DA, a RICO wet dream. Ethan confessed in a flood, the pills, the debts, the panic swerve. But in the station's sterile light, as cuffs clicked, he looked at me, not with hate, but gratitude. Thanks, sis, for not letting me drown alone. I nodded, throat tight. Mom clutched my hand. Dad stared at the floor. Justice, served cold. Yet, as they led him away, a detective pulled me aside. One thing, Miss Hayes. Your brother. He had an alibi app running that night. Pings you at the wheel. Forged. My blood iced. The flip, ultimate. He'd framed me deeper, a parting gift. Or insurance, in case I wavered. Rage boiled, but so did pity. Ethan, the chameleon, trapped in his own skin. I'd testify anyway. For Tommy. For me. The trial loomed like a thunderhead, promising lightning for all. The courtroom in the Daily Center smelled like polished wood and frayed nerves. Varnished benches packed with reporters scribbling like vultures. The Rylus in the front row, their faces etched with quiet victory and lingering grief. I sat on the stand, oaths still burning my tongue. The judge's gavel a distant echo as the prosecutor circled like a shark. Miss Hayes, walk us through that night. Again. Sweat beaded under my collar, the AC humming judgment. October 14th, fog thick as soup. Ethan had the keys, Dad's fort. He'd been at a party, celebrating the game. I was waiting up, worried. When he didn't come home, I went looking. Lies layered over truths, my voice a tightrope. The video played on the screen, grainy, damning. Ethan's silhouette swerving, my scramble to switch. Gasps rippled. Mom buried her face in Dad's shoulder. Ethan, at the defense table in ill-fitting orange, met my eyes. No smirk, just hollow man. Objection. His lawyer, a weasel in pinstripes Hargrove had warned about, leaped up. Prejudicial. My client maintains Miss Hayes was the driver, under the influence, as evidenced by these texts. The screen flipped. My voice memos, slurred pleas for pills. Whispers swelled. The judge banged for order. I gripped the rail, knuckles white. Those are old. Months before. Ethan planted them, edited, to frame me deeper. The prosecutor nodded. And the alibi app? Pings placing you behind the wheel. Forged. He confessed it to me, off record. Lie number 2. Ethan's head snapped up, betrayal flashing. Or was it relief? The flip, again, his eyes pleading, don't drown me. Cross-examination was a meat grinder. Defense painted me as the junkie sibling, jealous of Ethan's shine, willing to torch the family for spite. You sent that video out of revenge, didn't you? After they abandoned you at the diner? The word dripped scorn. Tabloid headlines splashed in jurors' minds. Sister's fury. Family feud turns fatal? No, my voice cracked, but I held. For Tommy. For truth. The Rylus nodded, Aunt dabbing tears. But doubt flickered in the back row. Neighbors, classmates, weighing blood against justice. Dad took the stand next, crumbling under questions about the bribes. I thought I was protecting my son. My family. His voice broke. Mom sobbed audibly. The courtroom split. Sympathy for the fallen principal, or scorn for the enabler. Ethan's turn was the gut punch. He shuffled up, chains rattling softly, the boy I'd known buried under manacles. I did it, he said, simple as that. Drunk, scared, running from debts. Avery covered because she's better than me. Always was. His eyes locked on mine, genuine? Or the ultimate play, martyring himself to lighten his sentence? Gasps again. The defense objected furiously, but the judge let it stand. No further questions, the prosecutor said, almost gentle. Closing arguments were fireworks. Prosecution hammered conspiracy, a family rotten to the core. Defense flipped it, tragic mistake, redemption arc, with me as the wild card villain. Who benefits? The sister scorned, seeking her pound of flesh. Jurors shifted. I caught a woman in the third row glaring my way. Sides drawn, no heroes, just survivors clawing from the wreckage. Deliberation stretched 2 days. Agony in the courthouse cafeteria, Mom picking at salads, Dad staring at walls. On the second night, Ethan's associates surfaced, 2 goons in cheap suits, cornering me in the garage. Your bro stiffed us. That testimony? Make it stick, or you're next on the menu. Threats hung like smoke, but I memorized plates, called it in anonymous. Cops scooped them pre-dawn, RICO ties sealed. Small win, bitter pill. Verdict dropped at noon. Third day, guilty. Ethan, 8 years. Dad, 5 for tampering. Mom, probation for accessory. The gavel fell like finality. Rylas hugged me in the hall, aunt whispering, "You gave us peace." But as Ethan was let out, he mouthed, "Sorry," eyes wet. Or was it watch out? Outside, rain slicked the loop, protesters, anti-corruption activists, family values crusaders, clashing signs, justice for Tommy versus free the Hayes, one bad night. Controversy brewed, headlines screaming sibling showdown. Hero or hoax? I slipped away, hood up, the city's pulse mocking my hollow chest. Months later, parole hearing for me. Exoneration papers stamped, record wiped like a bad dream. But the twist hit via certified mail. Ethan's confession letter, smuggled out. Avery, I flipped the app, yeah? Insurance. But the real secret? The pills in the trunk? Yours. I was covering for you that night, too. You'd relapsed, asked me to drive you to a meet. Swerved to miss the kid, but I ran because it was your stash. Family, right? Don't hate me. Love, E. My world tilted. All along, the betrayal looped. Me for him for me, a Mobius strip of sins. I'd taken the fall for his panic, but he'd shouldered my addiction to keep the peace. Who was the villain? The savior? Dad knew, his instability, lectures suddenly crystal. Mom too, her unsent apologies. I burned the letter in the backyard fire pit, ashes scattering like doubts. Tommy's memorial fund thrived. I volunteered there, reading to kids with that gap-toothed grin. But nights, the diner booth haunted, rain on windows echoing what-ifs. Revenge? It revealed us all, flawed, flipped, forgiven, or damned. The debate raged in group chats, bar stools, my own mirror. Was I redeemed, or just the last liar standing? Ethan wrote from Danville, out in 4. Coffee. I stared at the page, pen hovering. Family stuck forever. Curse or glue? I replied, Mel's. Midnight. Black. The rain would fall again, but this time, I'd stay.